When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done. When the battle's lost.
And won. That will be ere the set of sun. Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth. Fair is foul.
Foul is fair.
Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that?
Oh, this is the sergeant, who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Now say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their heart. The merciless Macdonald from the Western Isles, of kerns and gallowglasses is supplied. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandishing steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Like Valor's minion, he carved out his passage till he faced the slave, unseamed him from the nave to the chaps.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
But the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrow's eagles or the hare the lion. They doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. I think they're meant to bathe in reeking wounds. But I'm faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become they as thy wounds, they smack of honour both. Go get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look who seems to speak things strange.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that warlike Macbeth confronted him, rebellious arm against arm, and to conclude, the victory fell on us!
Great happiness! No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
A drum, Macbeth doth come. The weird sisters,
Hand in hand.
posters of the sea and land,
Thus to go. About.
thrice to thine,
And thrice to mine.
and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen. How far is quill to forest? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on't? Live you? Or are you aught that man may question?
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth. That shalt be king hereafter.
Oh, good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical? Or that which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can, look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not.
Speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail.
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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay! You perfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I'm the Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Hey! I charge you!
The earth has bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither have they vanished?
Into the air, as breath into the wind. But they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
The Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor. In which addition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can that devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? When those who gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them.
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence.
Cousins, a word I pray you.
This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why that given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my sated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir. Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Oh, give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Let us toward the king.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. O worthiest cousin, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness' part is to receive those duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants.
Come hither. I have begun to plant thee and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, and must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to mine heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
Sons, kinsmen Thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Go from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to.
I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
Thy worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else early, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires.
Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with "Hail, King that shall be." This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. 'Tis too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest wave. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
The king comes here tonight.
Mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who wert so would have informed for preparation.
One of my fellows had the speed of him.
The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers. Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and poll thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Arms, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my saying, is as a book, where men may read strange matters. He who's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come bring solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
Did he speak upon it further?
Only look up clear. To alter favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Where is the Thane of Cawdor?
Our honored hostess.
Give me your hand.
All our service were but poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house.
Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our grace.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success. But that this blow might be the be-all and the end-all, here, but here upon this bank and shoal of time we'd jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here that we would teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. He's here in double trust. First as I'm his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderers shut the door, not bear the knife myself.
You've almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Oh, know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I brought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now and their newest gloss not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire?
Oh, prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him. His two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory shall be a fume. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan?
Bring forth men, children only. For thy undaunted mettle should compose of nothing but males. Will it not be received when we've marked with blood the sleepy two of his own chamber and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other, when we shall make our greaves and clamour roar upon his death?
Away, and mock the time with fairest show. The false face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I've not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take it is later, sir.
There's husbandry in heaven. The candles roll out. Who's that?
Friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed? He hath been in unusual pleasure and sent forth great largesse to your offices.
Well, being unprepared, Will became the servant to defect.
All's well. I dreamed last night of the three weird sisters. To you, they've shown some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
Good repose, the while.
Thanks, sir. A like to you.
Go with thy mistress, and my drink is ready. She strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in a form as palpable as which now I draw. And marshalest me the way that I was going. Such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still. And on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds to cold breath gives. I go, it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven, or to hell.
That which has made them drunk has made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. Was the owl a treat?
What's that? What?
Alack! They have awaked, and 'tis not done. The tempter, not the deed, confounds us. Hark! I laid the daggers ready. He could not miss him. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done't.
Done the deed. Does that not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the cricket cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
What, has it descended?
Aye.
Hark. Lies in the second chamber.
Turn of me.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
Oh, foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
One did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood there and I heard them, but they did say their prayers and dressed them again to sleep.
They're too lodged together.
One to cry, God bless us, and amen the other. And I stood there with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, but I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
Wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of a blessing, and amen stuck in my blood.
These things must not be thought of after such ways. So it will make us mad.
I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleep of care. Glamis has murdered sleep. Therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly on things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
No, I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms with ore, for it must seem their guilt.
What is that knocking? How is it with me that every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire us to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Get in your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
All right. Knock, always knock. All right, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Well, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and as you know, drink is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Well, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Well, literally, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. Well, it provokes the desire and takes away the performance. Well, it sets him on and takes him off. Makes him stand to and not stand to, and in conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep and, giving him the lie leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
Oh, that it did, sir. The very throat of me. Though my legs were a little bit wobbly, I did manage to fight him off. Excuse me.
My master stirring. Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
No, not yet.
You did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him. It's the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint, sir.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
Oh, horror. Horror. Horror.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke up the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is you say, the life? Mean you his majesty?
Do not bid me speak. See and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo! Donovan! Malcolm, awake! Up, up and see the great doom's image! Ring the bell! What is this?
What is the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of this house? Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Oh, alas! What in our house?
Too cruel anyway, dear Duffy. I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
There is nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead.
What is amiss?
You are. You do not know it. The fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
By whom? Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were batched with blood. So were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows.
Oh, yet I do repent in my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? Well, no man! Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with golden blood. They're the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unminnily breached with gore. Who could refrain? Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart, courage to make loves known?
Help me hence. Oh.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate hid in an auger hole may rush and seize us?
Look to the lady!
When we have our naked frailties hit that suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us! In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice!
So do I! So.
Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
Well content.
Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland, I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot had not delighted. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Threescore and 10 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Oh, good father, thou seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act, threatens his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done.
Here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
It's known who did this more than bloody deed.
Those that Macbeth had slain.
Alas, that day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He's already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where's Duncan's body?
Carried to Column Kill. A secret storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to school?
No castle out to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than on you.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou played most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings, if there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee make good, may there not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope?
Ah, here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, an all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and will request your presence.
Well, let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as 'twill fill up the time twixt now and supper. Go not my horse the better?
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We, here, our bloody cousins, bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have a cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to your horse, adieu, till you return at night. Oh! Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horse is swift and sure of foot. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. We will keep ourselves till supper time, alone. Zero, a word. Tell you those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Good, bring them before us.
Naught's had, all spent, when our desire is got without content.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me. Then profit like they held him father to a line of kings, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered. Only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man. To make them kings. The seeds of Banquo kings! Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then. Now, have you, considered of my speeches?
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Well, both of you know that Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against the nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, whom I myself struck down. And thence it is that I, to your assistance, do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall perform what you command us.
Though our lives, spirits shine through you. Within this hour, at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves. The moment on't, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. It is concluded. Banquo thy soul's flight. If it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone?
Using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice, domestic foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and Fleance lives.
But in them nature's copy is not eternal.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons, the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of thy knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night. Scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wings to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents do their praise to rouse. Thou marvelest of my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill.
Hark. 'Tis he. Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Calm down.
Fly!
did strike out the light.
Was it not the way?
One's but down, the sun is fled!
We've lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, a hearty welcome.
Thanks, Your Majesty.
Myself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Here, I will sit in the midst. Anon, we will drink a toast the table round.
How is this?
There's blood upon thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's as good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art nonpareil.
Most well, Sir Fleance is escaped.
But Banquo is safe.
Ah, my good lord. Safe in a ditch with 20 trenchant gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer.
Oh, sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion, wait on appetite, and health on both.
Pleased your highness, grace us with your royal company.
May it please your highness. Sit.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves, your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
I can't say I did it.
Never shake thy gaudy locks at me!
Gentlemen, ladies, rise. His Highness is not well.
Sir, worthy friends, my lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. He will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
I ain't a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all's done? You look but on a stool.
Thee see there, behold! Look low! What say you? If thou canst nod, speak to! If charnel houses and our graves will send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the moors of kites!
Quite unmanned in folly.
If I stood here, I saw him!
Fie for shame. My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come. Love and health to all, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. All and to all.
All our duties in the pledge.
Vaunt and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast not speculation in the eyes that thou dost glare with!
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What? Man, dare! I dare! Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble! Or be alive again. And dare me to the desert with thy sword! Unreal mockery! Hence!
Begone, I am a man again. Pray sit still!
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting, with most admired disorder.
Can such things be?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enranges him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend His Majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which.
How sayest thou? Macduff denies his person at our great bidding.
Did you send for him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not one of them, but in his house I keep a servant paid. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in the head that will to hand, that must be acted on, ere they be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are but young, indeed.
Things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late. Whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, but Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damn it, fact. How it did grieve Macbeth. Or did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too. For it would have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as it please heaven, he shall not. They should find what 'twere to kill a father. So should Fleance. For peace.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time." Round about the cauldron go. In the poisoned entrails throw.
Toad, but under cold stone, days and nights had 31.
Sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double
toil.
And trouble. Fire, burn. And cauldron bubble.
Till it of a penny snake. In the cauldron, boil and bake.
Finger, a strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab. Double toil and trouble. Fire, burn. Cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way up. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak. Demand? We'll answer. Say if thou wouldst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware, Macduff. Beware the Thane fight.
Thou hast had my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Bloody, bold, and resolute, laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I make the assurance double sure, and I take the bond of fate. Thou shalt not live. What's this that rises like the issue of a king?
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care. Who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham Wood to hide Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That shall never be. Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix its earthbound root. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Shall Banquo's issue ever reign this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
Satisfied? Deny me this and an eternal curse fall on you!
Show! Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs and thy hair. Thou art the gold-bound brows like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why'd you show me this? A fourth? Start eyes. What? Will a line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet, a seventh. I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. Horrible sight. Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. Ah!
Where are they? Gone. Come in without there!
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the Weird Sisters?
No, my lord.
What? Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Cuts it be the air when they ride, and dandles over Tristan. I did hear a galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, to bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
It's fled to England?
Aye, my lord.
Time now anticipates my dread exploits. The castle of Macduff, will I surprise? Seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunates that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before the purpose call. But no more sights.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself doth fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. Even the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight. Her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom when the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I take my leave of you.
My pretty cousin.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Cyril, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother. Anyway, my father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. And how will thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayest find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain.
You egg.
Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry. New sorrows strike heaven in the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland.
What I can redress, as I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoken may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking. I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed. Bleed, poor country. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkst, for all the space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. But my poor country will have more vices, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever. By him that shall succeed.
Who should he be?
Well, it is myself, I mean. Black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless arms.
Not in all the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned with evils to top Macbeth.
Grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. Well, better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature's a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. But fear not yet, we have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
Were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels in this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more.
This avarice sticks deep and grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust. Yet, do not fear. All these are portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none, the king becoming graces. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Scotland! Scotland!
Well, if such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff. This noble passion reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. But God above deal between thee and me. For ever now I here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself as strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight would no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before they here approach, an army of 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. See who comes here. My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
Good God betimes remove the memes that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked.
It's the newest grave.
Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech. How goest?
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which will possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard. Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
My children, too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed, too.
I've said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, Hellkite. All. What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. Oh, sinful Macduff. They were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart. Enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eye and bracket with my tongue. But, gentle heaven, cut short all intermission. Front to front bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him.
This tune goes manly. Come, our power is ready. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report.
I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, remove forth paper, fold it right upon it, and afterwards seal it, and then again return to bed, and all this while in a most sound sleep.
Besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after. Know you. Here she comes. This is her very guise. And upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by the light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their senses are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing of her hands. I have known her continuing it a quarter of an hour. It is a spot.
How can she speak?
Out, damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. And it's time to do it. Hell is murky.
Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and afeard! What need we fear who knows it when none can call our power to account?
Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean?
No more of that, my lord, no more of that! You mar all with the starting!
Go to, you have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. Of that I am sure. Heaven knows what she has known.
All the perfumes in Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
Oh, what a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be so.
This disease is beyond my practice.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you again, Banquo is buried. He cannot come out on his grave.
Even so?
To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed!
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind, she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them. That way are they coming.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane, he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others do call it valiant fury.
Well, march we on, to give obedience where it is truly owed.
Give me no more reports, let them fly, all! Till Burnham Wood removed her Dunsinane, I cannot take with fear. And what's the boy? Malcolm. Was he not born of woman? And fly false thanes and mingle with the English epicures. Ah, the devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon, where gott'st thou that goose look?
There's 10,000
geese, villain.
Soldiers, sir.
Oh, go prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Tether thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear. What soldiers? Weigh face!
The English force, so please you.
Ah, take thy face hence! Satan! Sick to the heart when I behold...
Satan, I say!
I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the seer, the yellow leaf. And that which should accompany old age is honor, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses. Not loud, but deep.
Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
Well, it's confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
It is not needed yet.
I will put it on! Send out more horses. Scur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor! How does your patient, Doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased, pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon her heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll have none of it. Come, put on mine armor. Give me my staff. Satan, send out. Doctor, the Thanes fly from me. Come, sir! Dispatch! If thou couldst, Doctor, cast the water from my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health. Off, I say! I mean, what rhubarb, senna, or purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them?
Oh, aye, my good lord. Your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
It shall be done.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls! The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and ague eat them up. What is that noise?
Is the cry of women, my good lord!
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. I have supped full with horrors, dying as familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The Queen, my lord, is dead!
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word! Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Now comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
My gracious lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
Well, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me enjoy your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakest false upon the next tree, thou shalt hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane.
bury the sun and wish the estate of the world were now undone.
Ring the alarm bell!
Low wind come rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back. They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course.
What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none!
Men else I've avoided thee. Get thee back. My soul is too far charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword, thou bloodier villain, that terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labour. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and tell the angel that thou still hast served, that Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. I will not fight with thee.
Then yield, thee coward, and lift to be the show and gaze of the time.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet and be baited with the rebel's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed to being no woman born, yet I will try the last. Lay on Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, "Hold! Enough!"
King, for so thou art. The time is free. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland! We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth, be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do? Was calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time and place. So, thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.